All right, everybody, and welcome back to Black Advancement. We're on to question two. And question two is, do you feel that he has been treated as fair as any other president? We touched on this a little bit on the first question, but I'm going to let Dwayne go ahead and start us off.
I think my first answered that.
but go ahead and go into it, please.
Like I said, that's the case with anything that we break into. Like I said, we always get treated differently. That'll always be the case here. In my eyes. So, you don't ever walk into a situation as the first black person in it and get treated the same as your white predecessor before you. Mm-hmm. Never the case. We deal with this racial issue and actually come to some understanding of facts and the reason why white people are considered over us or above us is the fact the system was set up catered to you. And until they're willing to realize and say that and understand that, we'll never be able to get beyond this because it won't do truly what is said in the Constitution and all that about treating a man as a man, not looking at his color of his skin, not doing that. That's never going to happen here. Mm-hmm. We have to understand that's never going to happen here because it'll never happen here. That's why we're going to end up like every other democracy that had its reign. It went up and then we'll come back down for the same similar issues because when you don't understand your past, you're destined to repeat your past. So,
well, what about the perspective of it, to kind of get back to it, like as far as like the presidents go, people treated Bill Clinton pretty bad, right?
Yeah, but why do they treat him so bad? Because they consider him our first black president. Did they not? Isn't that what they were saying? That's what we were saying. He's our first black president. That's been put out there. So I think that has a lot to do with why he was treated the way he was treated. The fact that they made that link to him. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about the situation in this country. Look at what's going on up in New York. How they're pulling blacks and Hispanics over at an alarming rate. Yeah. Come on, man. Really?
That's not news.
But I'm just saying.
It's always been. They're just now reporting it.
Keeping track of it. But yeah. Go ahead, Greg. As far as the fairness, the fairness question of how he's treated as a president.
Well, I'll put it to you like this: Obama may not have to go overseas to get a shoe thrown at him. It can happen right here tomorrow. But you really can't expect him to be treated fair. This is a brand new event in America, one that nobody probably ever thought would really happen. At least nobody in our generation would ever imagine to happen. So, of course, they pretty much given the green light to disrespect him, and it's all about the fact that he cannot respond the same way that past presidents could before. They don't give him the respect that he deserves. I don't even hear him call him President Obama anymore. They just call him Mr. Obama. Yeah, that's how bad it's gotten.
Heard that.
He's had people, not even other important politicians. He's had reporters cut him off in mid-sentence as if they're important. You know what I'm saying? You're there to report. Just to shut up and write down what's being said. Ask questions later.
Just yesterday, he came out with his immigration policy, and we all know whether you agree with it or not. But he came out and was making a statement, and a reporter was cutting him off in the middle of his statement, not asking him questions after he finished it, but cutting him off. And then he comes back and writes an article like, "Oh, I thought he was done." Dude, we was all sitting there watching it. You did not think he was done. Seriously? That's what pisses me off the most. That stupidity that they think seriously, do you think we're that stupid to think that you thought he was done? You didn't think that. You just disrespected the man. And the only reason you disrespected him, to me, because you're white and he's black, and that's the only thing I can to me, that's the only way I can recognize that.
And he's frustrated. I'll put it to you like this. Interrupting Obama, there's absolutely no consequences. Nobody's going to be mad at you. They'll just report it and that'll be that. We saw what happens when you interrupt John Kerry. You get tased, bro. See, that's the difference. And he's not a president. He's just someone who ran and lost unfairly. but he lost. You know what I'm saying? So that's the level of disrespect we're talking about here. He's not really. I don't think that he's really been embraced like he was when he first came into office. Mainly because, I mean, lots of things haven't changed the way they were supposed to, which is like I said, wasn't his fault anyway. Because
but every president does that. They make this promise. They make this promise.
Do we give him a pass?
But that's the thing. When we get into jobs like that, I mean, look about it. When we get in jobs like that, we got to be the creme de la creme. They can come in and be a Bush number 2, do what he did, and he gets a pass. We come in and man, if there's a speck of dirt on the ground,
if you're not wearing a lapel with the American flag, you might be considered a.
Exactly. I mean,
we're
held to such a higher standard than they ever are. You know, and it just sickens me to my stomach the fact that I got to work 3 times harder than you to get half of what you.
You know what I don't like about your points is that you're like not honest about them.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Is that what you think? You think I'm not honest about it? I'm lying.
Go ahead, Greg.
That's another thing. It's real funny. They're still calling him a Muslim, and if he is, I could care less. He applied for the job and got it. So leave him alone.
It's supposed to be a Christian country, but they're going to vote in a white Mormon over a black Christian. What?
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm not sure about
these rich white people have a lot to handle. If he gets in, they got this chance to get 3-4 wives. They can afford it. It's going to be awesome. Go rob me.
We'll go to the guy and girl on the couch on this one. Guy on the couch will go first, and then we'll go to the girl on the couch. Guy on the couch, what you got?
From Free Black Girl.
Uh-huh.
Regarding whether or not she felt that the president was treated as fair as any other president in history. Her response was, what exactly does fair treatment mean in this context? People have the right to protest the president, wars, policy, etc. because we live in a relatively free country. Bush was highly protested and even had shoes thrown at him, and I don't remember anyone crying out about that. I think black people have been hypersensitive when it comes to Obama. People have the right to disagree with him, and they shouldn't always take it personally. There is actually a lot to disagree with, and it's not all racism. Most of it, I think, is legitimate.
Okay. Girl on the couch, what do you have for us?
This comment is from Free Ali regarding, do you feel that he has been treated as fair as any other president? No. This is the closest that I've ever followed politics. Not that I didn't before, but I wasn't a 24-hour news channel type of guy before his election, as I suspect a lot of people weren't. However, I remember enough to know that since I've been living, I have never seen this amount of disrespect shown towards the President of the United States by his own country, and more so Congress. I'm sure that presidents get ribbed here and there for a policy or statement or behavior. However, for someone to yell out, "You lie," during a speech is unimaginable. For people to be protesting in the streets now, after we fought a war that we shouldn't have fought, the deregulation of the stock market dating back as far as the Reagan administration that led to the current recession, the worst response to a natural disaster in American history, and all of a sudden want to take their country back is ridiculous. To continually claim that the President of the United States is a Muslim when he was involved in a quote-unquote scandal over his attendance to Reverend Jeremiah Wright's church for at least a decade and that he is going to set up a Sharia law in the U.S. is preposterous. To constantly question whether he's a U.S. citizen, even though Mitt Romney was born in Mexico, but I doubt anyone would hear anything about that, when would-be presidents are the most scrutinized people on the planet is absurd. When I keep hearing him referred to as Mr. Obama and others as former President Clinton in news reports on every news channels, hell no, he isn't treated fair.
Wow. I was just going to go into that. I guess we could respond to the first one first. So Greg, I'll let you have the first crack at it to respond in both of those.
Well, Free Black Girl probably is gonna have to take back her name once they start slavery.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like Free Ali said, lots of presidents get ribbed and messed with, some, but mostly by comedians and such. But this is just disrespect blatantly by his peers. who were all on board with the guy who messed up everything to begin with. In fact, I mean, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist at times, a lot of times actually, because lots of things never add up. Me personally, in some ways, I feel like Obama was kind of placed into the office for these reasons alone, because everything was all jacked up. And if you're going to have the first black president, you might as well throw him in there when everything's gone awry and everything's tore down. You might as well.
That's what I said. When
the
job gets that bad,
yeah.
bring in the first black Negro.
Like I said, all these problems that are going on today are not his problems. He did not create these problems. And even if he had expanded on it, it hasn't been enough to really affect the fact that the problem was already there. We've been put into a false war under a bunch of bullshit pretenses involving a terrorist attack, well, a supposed terrorist attack.
Wow.
I'll say that. And if they did, like I said, I always said this, if they did know there was an attack, about that, they did nothing about it, or they're a part of it.
You're talking about the 9/11?
Yeah, the 9/11 thing, which is the reason why everything's messed up now.
I agree with that.
So, like I said, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I figure after all these things were done, and everything was messed up, and they knew damn well that they weren't getting back in the office, because Obama essentially came from nowhere. People knew him, but they didn't know him.
Sort of, yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's just thrown into the office. Yay, Obama, yay, Obama. It just happens to be, at one of the worst times in American history. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it was planned.
Dwayne, what do you think?
I mean, I've delved in my conspiracy theories about things. I mean, so I understand where he's coming from.
No, I do too.
But my biggest thing is that when it gets really, really tough, they don't have a problem putting a black person, the first black person in there. And that's just, to me, that's been the premonition. And so that's my only thing, my grade for being an Abe is that the process he's had to go through. Because even though they've been disrespectful to him, he's been respectful back, which is, I appreciate that. I appreciate him being above board and doing that, because I'm telling you,
Herman Cain probably would have named it.
I'm telling you, some of the things I'd be willing to say to that man, some of the people that said, like the dude that interrupted him. See, I would have come back behind the podium, went down to and got in his face and said, "Shut the hell up till I get finished." And I said, "If you got a problem with that, you can leave. I'm the president of the United States."
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I would have said to him in front of all them people, because honestly, that's what I want. I want him to do that one time. Just do it.
I don't know if that's a
Can't
good
do
course, though. I don't think that's.
Yeah, but he's
like
human. He's human.
I
He's human. And then he can go and say, "Look, I'm human and I had a moment." And if American can't understand that, because we've all been there, can't understand that. I mean, he's supposed to be a representative of the people.
Don't you know that they will assassinate? Not literally assassinate. He will be
literally assassinate.
He will be destroyed if he does that.
He's still here right now. I thought he'd been assassinated a year ago by now, to be honest with you. Let me ask you this
What I'm talking
question.
about is this, though. If he does
First black president, when you ever thought of the first black president, what you always think if he got elected, what? Because every African American here, the first black president gets elected, what happens? Boom, boom, done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know you thinking that. We've all thought that.
Well, my thing is this: why would they kill him with a gun when they can just destroy his character? They're a lot smarter now. They're not just gonna kill him. But if he did something like that, they would destroy him. They would say he can't handle pressure. They call him. It'd be a rap for him.
Here's the scary thing when you're a leader and you're able to get the masses to follow you. Once you have made that connection to the masses, that's when they kill you. You know what I'm saying? And that's on both sides. Robert F. Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. When you start getting to a point where you're getting the people to wake up and see, because Martin Luther King did some great stuff, but he got killed behind what he started to say about Vietnam. If you really go back and look at
poor people,
about poor people, you know what I'm saying? And because he was saying it in a way where they were understanding. And that ain't cool, because, man, it's only 3% that run the thing, and you got 97%. When the 97% actually wake up and go, guess what? we don't like this system no more. What happens to the 3% when 97% say this ain't working like this no more? Man, it's scary for the 3%. I'm just saying.
On our website, which is www.blackadvancement.com, you can also go to the recommended websites. We always shout out Sweetest Affairs. They helped us out when we first started off. So shout out to Sweetest Affairs. You can also go to another recommended website, which is Open Source PhDs. That pretty much for everybody who's aspiring to be the next genius here in America. Actually, your sister is the one who helped start that website.
She is smart. Yeah.
She is smart, Dr. Robbins.
Yeah.
And she helped start that, and basically it just helps you through the process of being a PhD, giving you tips and pointers and things of that nature. You can also go to the BA store. As you know, these items aren't for sale. They're more so if you donate a certain amount, we will give you these items in return to show our love for you and our appreciation. And also you can go to our solution sections to check out some of the solutions that we have on board. Right now, I think one of the solutions that's actually going to come into play is after our live symposium, which is going to be on the Black Church on August 17th. So we're going to start handing out the credit commandments there, which is basically about helping people get out of debt, for lack of a better way to describe it. So with all that said, we'll be back right after this. Thank you.